Well, hi everyone. It's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and I'm here to tell you that there is a new yarn in town with Bernat Blanket yarn. It's called the Bernat All-in-One Blanket Granny. Look at how this is game changer. They first came out with it with Red Heart Super Saver, which was fun, but I am finding that working with blanket yarn and doing the all-in-one color changing is even easier for some reason. So I can't wait to show you. So it's just a basic granny square that we'll be making, and these colors are changing right on cue as I finish each round. So I am working with this color called Seaside Shine, but they have lots of beautiful options to choose from. You can get them on the Yarnspirations website. I, of course, will be leaving the links and everything if you're just seeing this on YouTube. So let's get started, and I'm going to do the tutorial for the square. And like I say, I already have a lot of these worked up, and then we'll work on joining them. One other thing I will say is that I love that at the last round, they have left us a lot of the yarn so that you can easily join them together. So we don't even have to get different yarn to join it. So I think that is something they learned from the first iteration of this idea with the Red Heart Super Saver. So that's making it even easier. Okay, you will need an L 8mm hook. That has worked for me. If you are a very tight crocheter, maybe you want to go up to a 9mm. Maybe if you're a very loose crocheter, you want to get the 7mm hook, although a 7 meter is hard to find. But the 8mm really worked well for me. So let's get started. So when you get a fresh package, a fresh cake here, you're going to see you want to pull from the center. They've got the pink going here, the orange going here. So that's where you're going to start. I'm actually working on my last cake, and I had already pulled from the center, so I wanted to show you that that's where you're going to start on a new one. You'll begin by making a slip knot and leaving yourself about a 4-inch tail. So just make a simple slip knot here, about a 4-inch tail. Begin by chaining 4. And we're going to slip stitch into the first chain that we made to make it a little circle. Now find the center of your circle, and first we will chain 6. This counts as a double crochet. The first 3 count as a double crochet, the next 3 count as a corner. And into that circle, work 3 double crochets. So I'm just keeping my tension, just not too tight, not too loose, using this part of the hook to keep my loop. It's not too loose, just matched around. And I'm also working over this tail, and that's going to help so that I don't have to weave that end in at all. So here's 2, and here's 3. Okay, we've got our first little granny cluster made. Now chain 3, this will be a corner, and work 3 more double crochets into that circle. And working with blanket yarn takes a minute to get used to, but it actually is a fun yarn to use even for beginners because it really hides a lot of your mistakes or different tension. You're going to be fine. Let's make another corner. Chain 3. Work over that tail. Work 3 more. Last corner here. This is our very first double crochet, so it's kind of like we do the first double crochet of that last cluster before we ever get started. So let's make 2 double crochets. 1 and put that apart, get that really into the corner. Here's 2, and we're about to change colors. It's working out great. This is how they've managed to join the color for us, so we don't need to cut or anything. Just work a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. That joins. So here we go. Here's our first round. So you should have 4 clusters, 4 corners of chain 3. So now we'll work on the next round. So you begin by slip stitching into the corner. And let's begin again. 6 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be our first double crochet of that last granny. And we just made our first corner. So now make 3 double crochets around that chain 3 space of the previous round into the corner. 1, 2, 3. Now to get across, we'll start adding just 1 chain. Just 1. Now chain 3. 3 double crochets. We're to a corner. Chain 3. I'm going to work 3 double crochets into that same corner chain 3 from the row previous. And then we're going to chain 1. So around this corner, the chain 3s, we're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, all into this same space. Chain 1. When we're working across a granny, you just need to chain 1. And let's do this corner. Corner. 1, 2, 3. This is where I start to get worried. Okay, did I keep my tension pretty good? If it doesn't turn out exactly ending perfectly, I'll show you a couple things that I do. So here's our first double crochet of the round. So now we just need to make 2. And it's going to be close. So I was a little bit too loose. So what I usually do, because if I make, well, I'll show you. So if I make one more, I'm already getting too much blue into this one. So, and I don't like that. So is that I just like to back up about 1, 2, 3, 4 of them and do these last section a lot tighter. And then I think that will give me just enough, because we were so close. And as I worked the squares, and once you start doing them, then each round you'll realize, okay, I need to do this one tighter or whatever. It really comes together. So I'm going to undo just a couple just to wrap. Yeah, and these do look a little bit loose. I think I was getting too loose. So I'm definitely going to do these a little bit tighter. Really pay attention. I think this round will work out a little bit better. Okay, so I'll meet you when I finish the rest of this round. Okay, so I joined with a slip stitch into the corner, and we begin the next round, and we will begin every round with chain 6. And then you work 3 double crochets, just like we did in the previous round, into that very first corner. And this time, all you'll need to do is chain 1 in between each increase of grannies. And a granny is basically the 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and every corner is 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. So here's my 3rd double crochet, and then we chain 3, and then we work 3 double crochets. So here's the rest. Okay, and then in between each, we just work 1 chain and then 3 double crochets. Okay, so just work on just keeping your tension, not too tight, not too loose, and work the rest of this round. And I'll meet you at the end, and I'll just show you one more time how to join the round, and then I think you've got it. So there's only 1 chain in between, and the corners are 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So we're ending this round with the 2 double crochets, and then you slip stitch in the top of the 3rd chain, and then slip stitch again, and then work your 6 chains, and we're off and doing it again. So work 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then in each corner 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So you have 2 more rounds, and then I will show you what I'm going to do to sew the squares together. Okay, how did it go for you? Just getting those final 2 rounds in, and I went ahead and slip stitched and then just pulled my tail loose. And I did this because I'm going to use a tapestry needle to join them. Now, if you don't want to use a tapestry needle, maybe use a stitch marker, keep that loop if you wanted to do any sort of like a zigzag join or a slip stitch join. These are 10 inches by 10 inches. And I forgot to mention that on each cake, each cake makes 4 of the squares. And they're saying that you would need 3 of these to make a little baby blanket. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I had 3 of these. I still have got a couple more squares to work up. But I want to just get to how I'm going to join them together for you. Okay, so find yourself a tapestry needle with a very large eye so that you don't have any problems feeding the yarn and getting it. So you need a fairly large eye. And I think this join is called like a mattress stitch because I am just weaving. So I am going underneath 2 loops and I'm finding the loop. In this case, it was the chain 1 on the other side, pulling through. And then I'm going to put my needle underneath the next 2, and that would be matching up to that first double crochet of that little cluster. I'm just going to go back and forth like that. Go to the second one, just underneath the 2 little V's, and come over here and match it up. So I'm going to get a nice little flat seam like that, and that's how I'm going to be joining these. And then, of course, when I'm done, I'll tie off and weave in all the ends. And hopefully, I'm sure they have got it planned. This is my first time doing it. But after I get this all sewn together, I'll put some pictures up of it. Now, I do want you to know that if this is not how you want to join it, you can go and get any of these colors in a giant ball of Bernat Blanket yarn. And you could even make bigger borders, join them differently. Lots of options with these cakes. They used actual colors out of blanket yarn so that you can get any giant ball with just the one color and make maybe a really colorful border around this blanket. That's one way to make it bigger if you're just kind of over it, making all these squares, because they're a little bit labor intensive. But overall, this blanket really worked up quite fast. I was surprised how many squares I was able to make in one day. This is my second day of making them. I think if I had more time, I had to go shopping yesterday, but if I had more time yesterday, this is a fairly quick baby blanket project, especially when you do not have to spend time weaving in all those ends. It's really, really nice. So thank you so much for stopping by. Good luck on your baby blanket. Of course, stay tuned. After this, I will have the finished look photos that you can look through. Everything will be on daisyfarmcrafts.com, or if you're just seeing this on YouTube, please check the description box and find the links to Yarnspirations.com. And that's how you can get some of this fabulous yarn. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a wonderful day.